Angels are more terrifying than you think, a secret hidden for thousands of years. Angels more terrifying than you think. Have you ever imagined angels as gentle beings with pure white wings and glowing halos? Many works of art have portrayed them as kind protectors, always watching over and helping humanity. But what if I told you that the truth about angels is far different from what we've been led to believe? In ancient religious texts, angels are not just messengers of good news, but also terrifying, powerful entities capable of wiping out entire cities in the blink of an eye. Imagine a being with 6 flaming wings, a voice that thunders like a storm, and a gaze so overwhelming that humans collapse in fear at its presence. That is the true nature of angels, as described in ancient texts. They are messengers of the divine, but they are also celestial warriors and enforcers of absolute justice. When they appear, mortals do not feel comfort, but rather sheer terror. Why do these supposedly divine and noble beings inspire fear instead of reassurance? Angels are not merely guardians. They are instruments of divine will, executing commands with unwavering precision, even if it means eradicating an entire civilization. From the blazing Seraphim with 6 wings, the enigmatic cherubim with 4 faces, to the angels of death like Azrael, these beings are far more powerful and fearsome than we often imagine. Stay with us until the end of this video as we unveil the hidden truth about the most terrifying angels in history. What you discover might forever change the way you see these celestial beings. Angels, messengers of light, or agents of destruction. Since ancient times, humanity has believed that angels are divine messengers, bridging the gap between the celestial and the mortal world. However, their role is not as simple as offering protection and guidance. Angels are also warriors, enforcers of divine justice, and at times, even harbingers of death. Take the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, one of the most chilling accounts in the Bible. According to the book of Genesis, these 2 cities were infamous for their wickedness and moral corruption. Angels were sent to warn Lot and his family of the impending destruction, but when the people refused to repent, the judgment was executed. Fire rained down from the heavens, consuming everything in its path and turning the cities into ashes. This event serves as a stark reminder that angels are not just benevolent guides. When tasked with carrying out divine justice, they can become instruments of devastation, obliterating everything that stands in opposition to the will of God. This concept is not exclusive to Western traditions. Similar themes of divine beings wielding both creation and destruction exist in Eastern mythology. Have you ever heard the Vietnamese legend of Than Tru Troi, the sky pillar god? According to folklore, this celestial entity created the heavens and the earth. In the beginning, the sky and the land were connected, allowing humans to reach the divine realm. However, as humans became increasingly corrupt and chaotic, Than Tru Troi decided to separate heaven from earth forever, ensuring that mankind could never again access the celestial world. Both stories emphasize an essential truth. Angels and divine beings are not merely protectors, they are also enforcers of harsh and absolute justice. When humanity strays too far, they do not hesitate to use their overwhelming power to restore balance, even if it means unleashing catastrophic destruction. So, what exactly are angels? Are they messengers of light or instruments of wrath? The answer depends on perspective. They can guide and protect, but when the time comes, they also serve as the hand of divine retribution, ensuring that order is maintained, no matter the cost. Angels' presence, when fear overwhelms everything. There is one striking similarity in almost all stories about angels. Whenever they appear, people tremble, collapse, or even faint in sheer terror. This is a stark contrast to the gentle, serene angels often depicted in Western art. Ancient texts describe angels as beings of overwhelming power, far beyond human comprehension. Angels, supernatural beings, beyond human understanding. Imagine walking alone on a quiet, dark night, with only the sound of the wind around you. Suddenly, the sky bursts into radiant light, and in front of you stands a being with multiple wings, burning eyes that pierce your soul, and a voice that rumbles like thunder across the heavens. Would you still think of angels as gentle beings? This reaction is recorded throughout religious texts. In the Bible, whenever an angel appeared, people would collapse in fear, unable to bear their presence. Some angels even had to reassure humans by saying, "Do not be afraid," because their mere existence was too overwhelming. Angels are not simply human-like figures with small wings. They are supernatural entities with forms beyond human comprehension, so much so that merely looking at them can be unbearable. The angel of death, the harbinger of doom. One of the most terrifying angelic figures in European folklore is the angel of death. According to legend, during the devastating Black Death that ravaged Europe, a mysterious angel was said to appear, carrying a book of names. Those who saw him understood one horrifying truth: their fate was sealed. No one could escape. This fear was not just about death itself, but about the absolute inevitability of divine judgment. No human could resist an angel once it had come to carry out its mission. There was no mercy, no hesitation, and no mistakes. Angels in historical catastrophes. Even in modern history, the imagery of angels has been associated with great disasters. Some believe that during the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, invisible entities stood as silent witnesses, much like angels executing divine punishment. Whether by chance or divine intervention, these catastrophic events evoke a haunting question. Could there be higher forces carrying out justice beyond our understanding? Would you be able to stand firm when faced with the blazing gaze of an angel, when their voice thunders like a storm, and when the space around you is engulfed in an overwhelming, blinding light? Or would you collapse in terror, just as countless others have throughout history when encountering their presence? Angels are not beings created to comfort humans. They exist for a far greater purpose, to execute divine will without hesitation. When they appear, it is not always a sign of reassurance, but often a harbinger of something monumental, inevitable, or even catastrophic. So, if one day you were to witness such a powerful entity, would you feel blessed, or would you realize that your fate had already been sealed? 3. The destroying angels. When justice takes the form of destruction. When people think of angels, most envision them as protectors, bringers of light and comfort. But in religious traditions, angels can also serve as instruments of destruction, wielding power that is unstoppable and overwhelming. They are not warriors of compassion, but enforcers of divine justice. Sometimes this justice comes in the form of total annihilation. The destroying angel in the Passover. Let's travel back to ancient Egypt, when the Israelites were enslaved by Pharaoh. According to the Bible, to free them, God sent 10 plagues to Egypt, each more devastating than the last. But the final plague was the most horrifying. The destroying angel was sent to kill all the firstborn in Egyptian households. However, those who marked their doorposts with lamb's blood would be passed over. This became the term for the Passover. For the homes that did not have this mark, death arrived mercilessly and precisely. There was no choice. There was no mercy. There was no mistake. The cries of mourning echoed through Egypt, from Pharaoh's palace to the humblest of homes. When the destroying angel carried out its mission, nothing could stop it. Compare this to the famine in Africa, where millions of people, especially children, die each year from hunger. Images of emaciated children with nothing to eat evoke a sense of silent yet devastating destruction. Unlike the precise action of the destroying angel, this tragedy does not come from a divine mandate, but rather from human actions and apathy. 185,000 Assyrian soldiers vanish in one night. Angels do not only appear in religious texts, but also in historical warfare. One of the most terrifying events occurred when the Assyrian army besieged Jerusalem. At that time, Jerusalem seemed doomed. The Assyrian army was one of the mightiest forces in existence. But when the sun rose the next morning, the unthinkable happened. 185,000 Assyrian soldiers lay dead. No sounds of battle could be heard, no wounds on their bodies. In a single night, an entire invading empire was erased without a single weapon raised. According to the Bible, just one angel was enough to destroy the mighty army. No need for a heavenly army. Just one invisible being could change the fate of a nation. Think of modern wars, World War II, the Middle Eastern conflicts, or genocides. Millions of people die due to the decisions of a small group of rulers. But unlike the precise devastation of the angel, wars caused by humans always come with pain, senseless loss, and the death of innocents. Angels execute divine justice. Humanity at times destroys for greed and power. The angels and the end of the world. In the book of Revelation, 7 angels blow 7 trumpets announcing the end of the world. With each trumpet blast, a disaster descends upon humanity, an intentional act of judgment. 1. The first trumpet. Fire and hail destroy 1/3 of the earth. 2. The second trumpet. A burning mountain falls into the sea, killing countless creatures. 3. The third trumpet. The world's drinking water is poisoned, leading to mass death. The fourth trumpet. The sun and moon lose their light, plunging the world into darkness. The fifth trumpet. A host of monsters emerges from the abyss, tormenting humans but not killing them. Sixth trumpet. A supernatural army destroys 1/3 of humanity. 7. The seventh trumpet. The final judgment occurs, and heaven reigns forever. There is no punishment that humanity can resist. When the angels fulfill their mission, they embody unstoppable destruction. Look at today's man-made catastrophes, climate change, nuclear disasters, biological warfare. How many of these are caused by humanity itself? Are we, in some way, becoming the destroying angels of our own world? Conclusion: justice or destruction. The destroying angels are not merely figures of terror. They are instruments of justice, executing divine punishment without being swayed by emotion. But when compared to today's reality, war, famine, and man-made disasters, there is a frightening truth. Humans can also destroy, but not out of justice, but for greed, hatred, and power. So, in the end, who is more terrifying, the angels or humanity itself as a force of destruction? 4. The angels of death, the harbingers of souls. Across various cultures, angels are not only divine messengers, but also entities responsible for collecting souls when a person dies. However, unlike guardian angels, the angels of death do not bring salvation or comfort. They are unstoppable enforcers of fate. Regardless of wealth, power, or status, when the time comes, the angel of death arrives, unwavering and inescapable. Azrael, the angel of death in Islam. In Islamic tradition, Azrael is the angel responsible for collecting souls at the moment of death. He gives no warning, offers no mercy, and when he appears, it signifies that your time has come. Azrael is said to possess a book recording the names of every person on earth. When a name is erased, the person's soul is instantly taken. For the righteous, Azrael may appear as a gentle guide, leading their soul to rest peacefully. But for the wicked, he is a harbinger of terror, dragging them into the afterlife with cold detachment. This concept is mirrored in various mythologies. For example, in Greek mythology, Thanatos is the god of death who silently takes souls without being seen. But if a soul resists, he overpowers them with his divine strength. In Japanese folklore, Shinigami serve a similar role to Azrael. They do not simply take souls, but also whisper into people's ears, making them accept their inevitable fate and walk toward death willingly. From Greece to Japan, Azrael and the angels of death symbolize a universal truth. Death cannot be delayed. It arrives precisely at its appointed time, neither sooner nor later. Samael, the tempter and executioner. In Jewish tradition, Samael is not only an angel of death, but also a dangerous tempter. He plays a dual role. On one hand, he seduces humans into sin. On the other, he executes divine punishment when the time comes. Samael is a contradictory figure. He serves God, yet he is often depicted as an adversary. He does not kill out of hatred, but as a divine enforcer of justice. His story is similar to Satan in Christian theology, a fallen angel who still plays a role in judgment. If compared to Eastern beliefs, Samael resembles Yama, the Hindu and Buddhist deity of death. In the underworld, Yama judges souls based on their karma. Those who have committed evil face severe punishment, while the virtuous are reborn into a better life. The key difference is that Samael does not judge. He already knows the fate of souls and merely executes the verdict. The angel of death in different cultures. The concept of the angel of death exists across many civilizations. 1. In Egyptian mythology, Anubis is the deity of the afterlife who weighs a soul's heart against the feather of Maat. If the heart is too heavy with sin, the soul is devoured by Amut, the monstrous devourer. 2. In Norse mythology, Valkyries are not just warriors who choose the worthy to ascend to Valhalla. They are also harbingers of death on the battlefield. When a Valkyrie appears, it means someone is about to die. 3. In Hindu beliefs, Yama determines a soul's fate after death, sending them to either paradise or hell based on their actions in life. These representations reflect a terrifying reality. Death is not random, but rather a preordained part of the universe, controlled by celestial entities beyond human power. The angel of death, justice or punishment. The angel of death is not an agent of cruelty. He does not kill out of pleasure, but because it is his divine duty. He merely carries out fate without emotion. But when we look at today's world, war, disease, and injustice, one must wonder, are there real angels of death, or have humans created their own versions of them? When millions die in war, is it divine justice, or is it the result of human greed and cruelty? No matter the answer, one fact remains undeniable. When the time comes, no one escapes the angel of death. 5. The fallen angels, when light turns into darkness. Not all angels remain loyal. Not all beings of light retain their purity. In religious history, some angels turned against heaven, choosing the path of rebellion, arrogance, and opposition to their Creator. But the story of fallen angels is more than just an ancient myth. It is a reflection of human nature. When faced with temptation, people can lose themselves, stray from the light, and fall into darkness. In today's modern world, filled with science, power, and material temptations, are we standing on the edge of becoming the fallen angels of this new era? Lucifer, from radiant angel to betrayer. Lucifer was once one of the most radiant and magnificent angels in heaven. He possessed wisdom, beauty, and power unmatched by any other angel. But because of this, he grew arrogant. Lucifer no longer wanted to serve God. He wanted to take the throne of the Creator. This rebellion led to the greatest war in the history of heaven. The archangel Michael, loyal to God, led the heavenly forces against Lucifer. In the end, Lucifer and his followers were cast into the abyss, banished from heaven for eternity. From that moment on, Lucifer became Satan, the symbol of defiance, arrogance, and the fallen. But when we look at today's world, how many Lucifers do we see? People blinded by power, willing to betray morals for ambition. Successful individuals who let arrogance consume them, forgetting the true meaning of life. Brilliant minds in science who use their intellect to create weapons of mass destruction. Lucifer is not just a character in mythology. He is a symbol of those who lose themselves to ambition. When we forget the true purpose of life, when we place ourselves above all else, we walk the path of Lucifer, the path of the fallen. The Watchers, when love leads to ruin. Lucifer fell because of pride, but some angels fell for another reason: love and desire. In the book of Enoch, a group of angels known as the Watchers were assigned to observe and protect humanity. But when they saw the beauty of human women, they were tempted. The Watchers fell in love, married human women, and bore offspring known as the Nephilim, giants who brought chaos and destruction upon the earth. This act was unforgivable. The Watchers had broken the sacred boundary between angels and humans, and they were punished severely. Some were chained in eternal darkness, while others were completely obliterated. But in today's society, how many people lose themselves to unchecked desires? Those who trade morality for material wealth. Those who let lust destroy their happiness and relationships. Talented individuals who succumb to greed and temptation, straying from their potential. The Watchers are a warning about losing control over one's desires, about how unrestrained passion can lead to ruin. When people cannot resist temptation, they too can become fallen angels. God's light, the way to avoid falling in a modern world. Today, we live in a world filled with temptation and chaos. Technology, power, fame, and pleasure, these can pull people away from the light. But God's light never fades. Even Lucifer, though cast into darkness, could never erase the divine light within the human soul. So how do we avoid becoming the fallen angels of the 21st century? 1. Practice humility. Do not let ego control you. 2. Stay true to moral values. Do not sacrifice integrity for short-term desires. 3. Do not let science and technology turn humanity into heartless machines. 4. Always seek God's light. Hold on to faith, kindness, and righteousness. Fallen angels are not just mythical figures. They are a warning. In a world filled with temptation, we must choose to remain loyal to the light or to lose ourselves and be cast into the abyss of darkness. Falling is not inevitable, but to resist it, we must always seek the light of God. 6. Conclusion. Why are angels so terrifying? After everything we have explored, angels are not just gentle beings or comforting protectors. They are mighty entities, possessing power beyond human comprehension, capable of inspiring awe and terror alike. We often picture angels as benevolent figures with white wings, serene expressions, and radiant halos. But in religious texts, angels do not merely appear to shield humanity. They are also warriors, judges, and sometimes bringers of destruction. When angels carry out their divine mission, they are not swayed by compassion or pity. They do not make mistakes, they do not hesitate, and they do not negotiate. Imagine a being with multiple wings of fire, eyes that pierce into your soul, a voice like rolling thunder, and the power to erase an entire city with a single command. Would you still think of angels as gentle beings? Angels, the embodiment of absolute justice. Angels do not operate under human morality. They do not ponder over what is right or wrong as humans do. They simply execute orders with absolute precision. They destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah with fire from the heavens. They killed 185,000 Assyrian soldiers in a single night. They brought plagues and death to Egypt during the Passover. They will be the harbingers of the apocalypse, blowing the 7 trumpets to mark the end of the world. They are not merciful beings, but instruments of divine power. In the eyes of angels, justice is absolute. There is no room for leniency or forgiveness, only the execution of the divine will, which must be upheld at all costs. When we look at the modern world, justice remains a complex and debated topic. Humans can argue about what is fair, but angels do not. They follow the supreme order, and if you are chosen for judgment, there is nowhere to hide. Can humans endure the presence of an angel? Why is it that in nearly all ancient texts, when an angel appears, people tremble, collapse, or even faint in sheer terror? Because angels are not like us. They are not just humans with wings. They are pure, unfiltered manifestations of a power far beyond what the human mind can comprehend. They radiate both majesty and terror at the same time. Imagine an ordinary person standing before a mighty emperor, a colossal god, or an all-consuming storm. The fear that would grip their soul would be nothing compared to the horror of standing before a true angel. So, do humans truly wish to encounter an angel? Angels, not just symbols of love, but also of fear. We often associate angels with love, hope, and kindness. But they are also among the most terrifying beings in the universe. They are protectors, but they are also warriors of destruction. They are messengers of God, but they are also enforcers of divine judgment. They are beings of light, but their light can burn entire worlds to ashes. Angels are not human. They do not think like us, do not feel like us, and are not swayed by human emotions. They are the storm, the thunder, the embodiment of divine will, and humans are far too small to comprehend their majesty without trembling in fear. When you see an image of an angel, the next time you see a picture of an angel with pristine white wings and a gentle smile, remember, they are not just protectors, they are also destroyers. They are not just love, they are also merciless justice. They are not just light, they are also the sword of judgment. Angels do not merely bring peace, they remind us of the overwhelming power that governs the universe. And if one day you were to stand before a true angel, would you feel blessed, or would you collapse in fear? Leave your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about angels now that you understand their true nature?